Imagine if we believed that black men were actually human beings that could be harmed by other people and not just bullets. Could we imagine a world where black men were victims of domestic violence and intimate partner homicide without saying that they weren't the cause of their own deaths? What would it mean to imagine black men as human beings? Black men and boys experience some of the harshest social conditions of any group in the United States. Despite their trauma, their witnessing of or their experience of violence, black males are only classed as perpetrators of violence.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Samara. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm excited. It's Wednesday live at 5.
At 5. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes.
You know, when we first did that ad for Dr. Curry, I was not feeling the music, but as it's gone on, it's like, oh.
It gives you like a nice, come on in the room. Have a seat. Let me talk to you.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. So I am excited for the Live at 5 Wellness Wednesdays. Always excited to be here with you. So I do want to ask how your week was, but I did want to, let me start with, how was your week so far?
My week was interesting, but today I did tons of self-care by shifting my environment.
Yes.
So early spring cleaning, even though it's not spring, and decluttering is speaking to all of me. Yes, so self-care.
Yes, you speaking my language, child. Speaking of self-care, you know this, but you know what I did for my birthday, which just passed in January, that I absolutely regret?
What?
I got my nails done, and I do not like it at all. Look, I broke one of them. You know why I'm saying I don't like it? I think I've had my nails done twice in my life, other than this time. For prom, for my wedding, and now for my birthday, for my 34th birthday. And the reason why I don't like it is I don't usually have stuff on my nails. I work a lot with my hands, and it was just all bad. Like I just wanted to do something, and thinking about self-care, like my birthday was super dope. I just kind of like went away. Like, I went shopping, I took myself out to eat, I went to the nail salon. I always get pedicures. That's always a thing. But I was like, you know what? I'm feeling jazzy today. It's my birthday.
No birthday.
It's my birthday. I'm gonna get a manicure too. And because I don't do this. I didn't know the language, and so I asked for a manicure, and the young lady said, "Oh, do you want a full set?" And I just said yes, because I thought that was like code for manicure. Like,
Oh,
it was code for they're putting stuff on your nails, and so like that's been like a thing. But anyway.
she upsold you. For real, she upsold you, which is terrible. They do that to us, like, oh, I just want this. Well, you should get this too.
I should have went with a buddy. I didn't know what I was doing.
Maybe cut them down and see if the length.
I don't like it. I just want it off. And if I cut them down, so I didn't want them long in the first place. I did want my nails to be even. So like they're the length of my actual nails, but like a couple of them were broken. And so like, just even them out. And that's what I thought, which is why it took me so long to catch what was happening. And so now I'm gonna just figure out how to get them off. That's
just go self-care, let them soak them off.
Exactly.
And massage your hand and give you a manicure with your natural nail. That's it.
Exactly. So that's what's up next. That's my next iteration of self-care. So, all in all, my birthday was a success. That one little bit was a little bit of a flop. But, the next part is going to be lit because, I like to. So since we said self-care several times over, today we are talking about mental health and wellness in preparation for our next mental wellness speed dating event that's happening in 10 days. We are 10 days away.
Yes.
How are you feeling about that, Tamara?
10 days. It doesn't seem It's crazy that it's 10 days away. Like, I'm excited, and I feel like I'm in college all over again, and I'm about to have this bomb lecture. I'm at a symposium that I haven't ever heard, and I'm just like, wow. And so I'm super excited because this is a subject near and dear that I just don't think we have enough information on. Like, mental wellness is still evolving in general, right? But including the perspective with Black men. I'm a boy mom all day, every day. So I'm always rocking with men in any way, shape, or form because I'm raising one. So definitely, I'm like, I can't wait to have a seat.
Yes, yes, and that part, right? Have a seat. And so trying to emphasize with folks, or what has felt really important to me is emphasizing that this is for all of us, right? Like, we're centering Black men, we're uplifting Black men, we're listening to Black men, but it's not a space that is exclusive for Black men, right? Because, like, it's one
Mhm.
thing for them to be validated in a space that's communal with each other, but I feel like it's super, super important that they're validated in front of everybody else, right? Like, for everyone else to bear witness, because we're intersecting with each other, right? Like, we're engaging with each other, we're doing life with each other. And so for the fact that, and Dr. Curry is so amazing. The information that he has for us, and I cannot wait to for that discussion to unfold. But the ways that Black men have experienced violence, and just, like, not being heard or whatnot, it's really important that we all sit in on that, because there are so many different ways, unfortunately, that we all contribute to that. So I'm super excited for, the narrative, first of all, to be set correct, right? Set right. Um, because without that, like, there's no going forward. If we can't validate that this is actually a problem, then there's nothing to do, moving forward. So I'm looking forward for the narrative to be validated, but also for the aftermath, right? Like, what happens after the fact that we now have a better understanding of what it means to be a Black man and boy, in the U.S. today, forever, for real, for real. But, like, standing today, like, this is where we've been. What does it look like as we move forward? That's what I'm looking forward to.
And the other thing that I would say for me added is that it's not to talk about the death or someone being abused or mistreated in their natural God given right to exist, to go to the store, to sell CDs, right? To have Skittles in their hand, to be at a traffic stop. It's just to hold space. And that feels really good and comforting. Like, just having a seat and not to take in any more trauma, not to take in any more backlash of things that have happened to Black and brown boys, and also to, I think it's a good time for people who want to help but don't know how, right? Like, how do I help? I don't really fit into the category of a Black male or even a Black woman, but how do I come alongside and become more knowledgeable and not hurt, right? Or intentionally be an ally. And so I tell people all the time, being an ally is literally education and empowerment. You're educating yourself, and the people you have influence with, you can educate and empower them to do something different and do something better, right? So instead of engaging Black men in a hostile way at a football game or in the community, right, there's a way to go about it, right? We now know better, but we also have to do better. So I'm so excited because this feels right that we just had another unfortunate. We have multiple events where Black men and Black boys are harassed, killed. This is Black History Month. People reflect on the deaths, but it feels so good that we're just coming to hold space and just have a seat, and not have a seat to watch a funeral or a eulogy, or, watch a beating or another violent video. Like, for me, this is like, whew, like, I just get to have a seat and just take it in, and hold space for other people who might not feel safe to show up yet, and take that information and those tools and just keep it in my back pocket. So whenever there is a young man or a man or a woman that I'm able to have influence with comes up with some things that are contrary to how we honor Black men, then I can help bridge that gap.
Yes, yes. And something you just said there, I'm looking forward to the day that we get away from discussing trauma just for the sake of discussing trauma, like having these trauma meetings, reopening wounds, just kind of like sitting in despair. And I'm not saying that, like, this is not a jab at anybody. I'm guilty of it myself. Like, because sitting in the thing is the easiest thing to do, right? Like, we can talk about the thing, like, and we can talk about how it impacts us all and how it makes us feel. But that next step is the hard part. Like, now what, right? Like, what are we doing moving forward? So I'm looking forward to generative conversations around not only the state of, but also this is where we're going. Not this is where we want to be. This is where we're going. And I'm so excited because the information that Dr. Curry, not only the information, but just the opportunity that he's bringing with us allows for that to happen. So it's not just a matter of, well, here's all this trauma later, like figure that out. I'll see y'all at the next meeting, like, because we kind of get in that loop because it's really hard to figure out like, well, where do we go next? So I'm excited for that to be the case. Dr. Curry is bringing, not only is he bringing the knowledge, right? Like not only like the knowledge, this is what it is like to be a Black man or boy, but also here's all the evidence to back it up, right? Like throughout history, like, so he's coming with empirical data, but he's also holding space for Q&A. So, for folks who have questions, like there's that opportunity for discussion to happen. But also, of course, because it is mental wellness speed dating, like what we've been holding since 2021 with the Wellness Collective, which is an opportunity for folks to meet with practitioners, mental health and wellness practitioners. So if you're a person who is seeking mental health support, this is like the best way, in my opinion, of course, my opinion, but in my experience, it's been the best way to do that because it allows for folks to come into a safe space virtually. So you ain't got to travel, like you don't have to be exposed. You don't have to get through like that emotional labor to get up and go, figuring out what to do with the kids, travel, et cetera, et cetera. There's none of that happening. It's virtual, it's free for the public. And you get to share a one-on-one space with practitioners, ask your pertinent questions, get a general vibe for them, and see if this person is actually a fit or not before moving forward. Versus like what happens right now, right? Like, which is months and months, maybe plus years to find a practitioner. And by that point, you might very well just give up, right? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to add, so when you're saying that point, in a perfect world, right, this is ideal across any mental wellness speed dating. This is across, even if you could do this with a practitioner PCP. Like I just had a really bad experience with a PCP I had for like 10 years, and it was violent, it was aggressive, it was so uncalled for. And I was like, now I have to find a new one, right? So it's like, I don't want to find a new one, but I don't want to stay where I'm violated. Where's the space that I get to do this at? And it would be awesome to have something similar to where you kind of get that time to engage with someone before you even waste an office visit, because that's time you don't get back.
Girl, you are showing my hand right now. So we do have plans for this space to be expansive moving forward. So stay tuned for that. But I'm glad that you brought that up because it is like, folks who provide service like that, it really does come down to the person, right? Like, it's not just a matter of can they technically do the job, right? Like when you're talking about someone who is dealing with like your most vulnerable places, and which is yourself, or your home or whatnot, like, it really does come down to who they are and how they do business, right? I'm very sorry that was your experience. When you told me about it, it was horrific. Like I wanted to run down on this doctor, like, hold up, we need to have a conversation. This is not how you treat people. Yeah. But in lieu of that, because I'm not going to jail.
Yeah, I ain't got no bail money. You have to sit there for a day till you go in front of the judge.
Right. In lieu of that, right? And jokes aside, in lieu of just having to stick with, practitioners that don't serve us, right? Or staying in places that don't serve us or isn't safe for us, right? And many of us, in many ways, we do that because we have no choice, or we just quit, in so many ways. I ain't got nothing else. I have nowhere else to go, but this doesn't serve me, so we quit. So mental wellness speed dating allows to cut through all of that. And again, we are looking to be expansive with this space. So like we do have some stuff down the line that we're looking forward to disclosing a little bit later down the line. But for this one, this mental wellness speed dating, because we are centering Black men and boys, this one is specific for Black men and boys. So all the practitioners are Black and brown. Just for safety's sake, that's not to say that non-Black practitioners cannot be of service. Just for this particular space, because it's going to be so vulnerable and open, it didn't seem to be best practice to have any other practitioner but Black and brown. But there's always opportunity to engage We have our practitioner's guide that has all of our practitioners who are signed up as mental wellness speed dating practitioners, their profiles, their bios, their pictures, contact information, and insurance that they accept if they accept any. So that's an opportunity. Like, so say, if they want to move a little, if they didn't meet someone in that space, that they can check out, the practitioners that we have overall. So looking forward to that. And then in addition to, and I feel like it's a lot, it's a pretty heavy event, would you say, Tamara?
I think it's fitting though, and especially it's Black History Month. Why not change history by honoring someone who is actually alive in the moment?
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly why this was chosen. This particular topic was chosen for February to kick off our year, because it is Black History Month. It's also like Valentine's Day is the 14th. Like, so centering around Blackness, Black people, Black history, and Black love, and love generally. What does that mean, right? And so being able to do that, I'm glad that you said that, because that was definitely by design. So like I said, it's a pretty weighted event. So we have Dr. Curry's gonna, tell us the good news or tell us the real news. The mental wellness speed dating is going to take place with Black practitioners and Black men and boys to meet and match, and hopefully find, for our Black men to find who they need on their healing journey. But there's also shout out to Dr. Curry. I cannot say this enough. Like, I cannot praise this man for what he does in his professional walk enough. He's also opened a space to have roundtable like discussion with our signed up practitioners and leaders. So not only is there a space where you can get to learn about his research and his work, but also there will be space to hold discussion and perhaps collaborate with him moving further. So like, if you are a person who works with Black men and boys in your organization, in your walk, if you're an elected official, a spiritual leader, a practitioner, a mental health practitioner, et cetera, right? And the list goes on. If you're a person who is responsible in any way for a Black man or boy, this is definitely the event for you, because it's so resource rich, right? Like, not only in the knowledge, but also in the opportunity. Again, like, we're not just talking just to have the conversation around trauma. Like, we're not just opening the wounds and walking away. We're talking about what is, what's real, and also moving forward, like, okay, this is where we are, and this is how we're going to move forward. So we're not staying here in this loop. So that's what I have regarding this particular mental wellness speed dating. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Tamara?
No, I feel like you summed it up, and it actually it did work. I didn't think or didn't know the planning that would lead up into this, but everything worked together. So I feel like it was super purposeful. Round of applause to the planning, to the behind the scenes, to the, I'm sure, countless hours in research and the engagement it takes to get someone who is busy doing the work regularly on a daily basis. Like, this isn't something they did and put on a shelf like for their dissertation, but he's actively engaged in the work inside and outside the US. So I think it's going to be a treat. I just hope that people take the opportunity to chime in and get what they need from it, right? Whatever resonates with you, get it. And the things later that are harder to digest, put on the shelf. Because I think it's going to be some things that are hard to digest, because it's going to be self-reflection, accountability. And if you're intentional about the work you do, you're going to have to take a step back and say, how do I fit? What can I do differently? And take some ownership.
That's real. That is so real. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. As a reminder, the Wellness Collective is a mutual aid collective. We got our start in 2019, and that's because we realized that there are these gaps in our social safety net, in our general community sustainability. So what we do is, like we're a membership organization. We all pour in so that we all have what we need when we need it. So if you are interested in becoming a member of the Wellness Collective, you can check us out online at thewellfolk.org. thewellfolk.org. If you are interested in signing up for mental wellness speed dating, you can do that as well at thewellfolk.org/MWSD. That's all for me. Do you want to say goodbye, Tamara?
Bye.
Thanks.
Imagine if we believed that Black men were were actually human beings that could be harmed by other people and not just bullets? Could we imagine a world where black men were victims of domestic violence and intimate partner homicide without saying that they weren't the cause of their own deaths? What would it mean to imagine black men as human beings? Black men and boys experience some of the harshest social conditions of any group in the United States. Despite their trauma, their witnessing of or their experience of violence, black males are only classed as perpetrators of